The Path to Authenticity is brought to you by GIA Miami. Founded by world-class mental health experts, GIA provides advanced care for difficult-to-treat conditions, including anxiety, medication-resistant depression, and obsessive-compulsive disorder. Using state-of-the-art methods, GIA can help people recover from conditions when more traditional approaches can't. Dr. Antonello Bonci has assembled an expert team serving international clientele in a modern and resplendent Miami setting. If you or someone you love is suffering from depression, anxiety, OCD, or other mental health concerns, call GIA at 833-713-0828. You can learn more about GIA by clicking the link in the show notes or by visiting giamiami.com.
Thank you for listening to The Path to Authenticity. My name's Tom Gentry. I think of this show as the opposite of small talk. You'll hear real conversations with real people who know who they are. We talk about what makes them who they are, how they became who they are, and how we might become truer expressions of who we are.
I'm Amani Sherif, and this is The Path to Authenticity.
If this is your first time here, thanks for checking it out. If not, thanks for coming back. I'm Tom Gentry, and this is The Path to Authenticity, episode 184 for July 19th, 2022. And this episode is a 20 questions segment with Amani Sherif, who is a London estate agent. She was the guest in episode 141 back in September. So I'll leave a link to that episode in the show notes. But this one was a lot of fun. I think you're going to enjoy it. Amani's someone who I have a lot of respect for. Incredible human being. So here you go. Amani Sherif. You ready to do this?
Yes.
All right. You don't have your notes from these questions in front of you, do you? It's okay if you have different answers.
I don't have my notes.
Okay,
no,
good.
But let's do it.
All right. If your life were a novel, what would be the title?
If my life was a novel, the title would be Successful in Life, Loser in Relationships.
Man, that breaks my heart to hear you say that. Because you're not. You're not.
No. I'm actually, this is, when I read this question, I was like, I don't really know, but it was just the kind of space that I was in when I wrote the answer. But other than romantic relationships, I have very, very good friendships. I have very, very strong relationships in my life. So I'm really, really, really lucky. So if I actually had to choose between the people in my life right now and finding a partner, I would literally choose the people in my life right now, because they make such a massive difference for me, for who I am. And I absolutely love them, and they absolutely love me. So I would never, I'm really good at building relationships with people. I'm really good at that. And so I'm not a loser at relationships. It's just the romantic part of things, kind of hard right now, but it's all right. It's not, for me, it's not the end of the world. It's absolutely fine. If I have the people around me in my life right now and I end up single for the rest of my life, I will be happy as a bunny. Nothing will be missing from my life. But yeah.
Okay. All right. Where were you born?
Libya, Tripoli.
And where do you call home?
Anywhere where my people are, my friends, my family, anywhere where they are, that's home.
So that's technically it's London though, right?
London right now, yes. Definitely.
Right now. So that implies that you're not tied down to London, or do you have ideas about somewhere else you might want to be, or?
I actually always wanted to travel a lot. Like I have this dream that I really just want to live different places. I've never been able to do it because of how work is and how my life turned out to be here in London. But it's always been a dream of mine to just like travel and live in different places. To be honest, London has been my home for a very, very, very long time. And I've always called it home because even when we lived in Libya, we used to come here all the time for holidays and all the other things. So this country is actually like, I call it home. I call it my second home. It's a place where I have lots of people I know. I know this city very, very well. And I actually love it. I know a lot of people like don't like London, but I actually love London. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's something that I have really been intentional about the last several years of my life, is to create a situation where I can work from anywhere. And I'm pretty much there. So now it's just a matter of making enough money so I can travel anywhere and be somewhere else, you know?
That's the dream. That's the dream.
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. So when you were a kid, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I had so many dreams. I was such an active kid. At one point I wanted to be an actress. And other point I wanted to be like, a pilot. I wanted to be a TV presenter at one point as well. I wanted to be like the next Oprah Winfrey for some reason.
It's still time, Amani.
I had like so many dreams. Like I always wanted to, but all my dreams are like, I'm the shining star and everyone's watching me do something, perform or give an interview or something. So I actually love acting a lot and I still kind of do it. Not like act, but I kind of play around with it. But, I never really pursued acting as a career at all. Never really thought I can.
Yeah, I mentioned this yesterday, that's something that I wish I had pursued as a kid, because I just have a feeling that it's something I could do, you know? So maybe one of these days, community theater or something like that. I don't know. Yeah. I've thought about taking acting classes or someday. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That's so cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I have a timing thing. I feel like that's something I learned about myself over the years, like being in writing workshops. When I would read, I just have a sense for timing that I don't think everybody does, you know? Anyway, yes. This is about you, not about me. Okay.
It's okay. It could be about us.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
I would love to do public speaking as a profession. That's something I would love to do.
Okay. And what would you like to talk about?
Anything. I don't know. I really don't know. But I think it's just something that, see, when I think about my professions now, I think of making a difference. I always think about how can I make an impact? How can I make a difference to people? And throughout, like, even my work in real estate, I think about myself as making a difference to people. I think of myself as helping people in some way, shape, or form. And so for me, being public speaker, I can literally speak about anything, but as long as I'm making an impact, as long as what I'm saying is impacting other people in a good way, then I'm happy. Then that's fine. Yeah.
Podcast would be a great way to
Yes.
do that. All right. What's your preferred form of creative expression?
See, I didn't understand this question. What do you mean?
Well, like mine, while I'm learning as time goes on, is this, verbal, but I've always written, so writing is probably mine. But I also I play around with collage and stuff like that. I like visual stuff too. So that's kind of what I was wondering. Do you paint? Anything like that?
No,
design?
No, I don't paint. I don't design. I'm not creative whatsoever. But I did used to write. I used to write small stories.
Mm-hmm. Fiction or non?
Fiction or non-fiction. You can. They're kind of both. Kind of both. No one ever read them. I wrote 3 stories. No one ever read them except 2 of my best friends. And I used to love writing. I really used to find myself writing. But then I stopped and I kind of lost it. Now I can't write anymore.
Do you journal?
I've tried. No, I've never done journaling. But it used to, when I wrote those 3 short stories, it was I don't know. I would wake up in the morning and I would have something to write. I wouldn't have any blocks. I wouldn't have any problems. I would just write.
Yeah.
And then I lost it. And then I was like, oh, well.
That's interesting. Because that's sort of a dilemma that I grapple with, because sometimes it just captures me, an idea, and I'll have to see it through. Even the post I did yesterday promoting this, I had an idea and it consumed me. I had shit to do and I started writing it and I'm getting ready and I'm driving, and I just had to keep, whenever I would stop at a stoplight, but that doesn't always happen, And, so I wish it did. I wish it did happen more often, but journaling is, I've done it as a spiritual practice, and it clears out the clutter, So, yeah. But when you mentioned to me in the interview the other day that you were trained as an attorney, the first thing I thought was she can probably really write, because most of the attorneys I know are great writers.
Funny you say that, Tom, because the writing thing, it kind of came, it's kind of funny, right? I've never used to be, when I was really young, I never really was into books. And then kind of in my late teenage years, I got into reading a lot, and I started reading, and I read in Arabic. I don't read in English. And then the whole writing started after a breakup. I had a really tough breakup and I was struggling to deal with it. So a friend of mine told me, you should write. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to. And she was like, what do you mean you don't know how to? Just write. I was like, write what? And she was just like, write whatever you want. Write your feelings, write whatever you feel like saying. And when I wrote down my feelings and when I started to write, I was able to get over that breakup like that. It took me 2 days.
2 days.
2 days, literally 2 days. Funny enough, we're really, really good friends right now. But it was a way for me to articulate my feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And I never really knew how to do that. And I was like, oh my God, I can actually do that now.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how the 3 stories came along. That's how I started to write here and there. But I've never really done I tried to do journaling at some point, but I could never stick to it. I could never make it a routine. So that's about writing.
Well, we judge ourselves too, right? I mean,
yeah,
we criticize ourselves about this stuff, and that's just makes it harder. But one of the things that I love about writing, especially as it pertains to the kind of stuff you're talking about, is that I draw conclusions that I wouldn't otherwise. If I wasn't writing, thinking it through, probably if I wasn't using a pen and paper, I arrive at conclusions that I wouldn't have otherwise. Right?
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say, and then I'll move on, is I either read this somewhere or someone heard a writer say it. I can't remember, but if you really think about it, we are all always writing. Because even as I'm speaking to you, I'm composing my thoughts. And part of the barrier is just, it's getting out of our heads about it and just doing it. It's writing down what you would say. So you are a writer, whether you think so or not. All right. What's your favorite movie?
I don't have a favorite movie. I can watch action. I can watch comedy. I can watch drama. I really don't have a favorite movie.
Do you have a favorite television show?
My favorite television show. I love true crime.
Okay.
One of my favorite TV shows was How to Get Away with Murder. That was really cool. If you haven't watched it, Tom, I really think that you should watch it.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I also like history TV show. Like I watched Spartacus, the new show that the new TV show that they did, and I just was in love with it. I was obsessed.
The costumes, the period stuff you like.
It's just the period stuff, the story, the way that the people were living and how they were, and it just amazes me. So I don't really have a favorite movie or a TV show, but I like different things. But Friends is one of my favorite comedy TV shows. I would watch it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, that's a big one these days. It's made a resurgence.
Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't watch it over. I watched it over and over again a long time ago, so I'm not interested in watching it. Do you have a favorite song?
No favorite songs as well.
What kind of music do you like?
I listen to Arabic music a lot, but I also listen to I listen to everything, basically. I listen to rap. I listen to classic rock. I listen to really, really, really old songs. Depends on how my mood is, really.
Yeah.
Music and shows is all about how I'm feeling at that moment.
You have to give me an idea of what Arabic music I should check out, because I don't know anything about it and I would like to. The closest thing I know of to anything Arabic is, I don't know if you know anything about jazz, but oh my gosh, he's a pianist, a famous pianist who Dave Brubeck. He made a record in the late 60s called Time Out. And there's a song on there called Blue Rondo a la Turk. And it's written in 8/8 time, where everything in the English language mostly is written based on 4 measures instead of.
Yeah.
And so it's really, it's sort of infectious, but I think it's based on Turkish music, which is probably a lot closer to what you're talking about. So, yeah. All right. What about visual art? Do you have a favorite work of art?
Favorite work of art? I'm not really into art, but I like plays. I like to watch people perform. But yeah, I'm not like into any type of other arts.
So you like theater?
Yeah, I like theater.
Do you have a favorite musical or a favorite play that you've seen?
The last time I watched a play was about 3 years ago, before the whole Corona stuff started happening. And I went to see the, such a famous one. It's about it's about the French Revolution. What is it called?
Les Mis.
Yes. That was I love that. I love that. I've seen it twice. I've seen it about 5 years ago, and then I went to see it again. I absolutely love it. But then I love all the other ones like Aladdin and The Lion King and all the other musicals that are very, very famous.
Have you seen Hamilton?
I haven't. I was planning on watching it just before the whole Corona started happening, and then everything got shut down. But that's on my bucket list. I really need to watch it.
Yeah, that's the last show that I saw. It really lived up to the hype. I mean, it was really cool. And I've seen Les Mis. I've seen School of Rock. I don't know if you know about School of Rock, but that's a fun one. Yeah. But actually where I live, it's right across the street from an off-Broadway theater. That's really, really nice. Great. Yeah. So, all right. Who do you admire most?
Who do I admire most? So how I answered this question was just anyone. I have people that I admire most in my life. I have people that I admire most outside of my life. But I could tell you something that I admire in people is the fact that when someone doesn't really give up on what they want in life, so just the persistence of people, just fighting for what they really want and making it happen. That's something I really admire about people. The ability to make something not possible. So that's something I admire in people. But someone that I truly, truly admire in my life is my granddad.
And is he in Libya or is he in London?
He's actually not in Libya. He's in Tunisia. He lives there now. But it's just that his life story and what he accomplished in his life and what he managed to do, and how the whole poor living situation was in the 1940s and 50s back in Libya, and how he managed to go to America, study, get a degree, get a high school degree, get a university degree while having 3 kids and dealing with everything, coming back home and building a legacy. That's something that I admire in him.
So did he grow up during the African theater of World War II, Tunisia, Libya? That was the Italians occupied part of Africa, didn't they?
Yeah, so the Italians were in Libya, and he grew up right after the World War II, and it was a very, very bad living situation back then. Actually, I don't know. I'm not really sure if he actually was there while World War II was going on, or
how old is he?
No one really knows. He's in his 80s. He doesn't tell. Okay. He never tells us how old he is. He has a funny thing about his age.
He would have had to have lived during that time.
Yeah. So yeah, he always talks to us about that. Like, he worked with the Italians because they owned all the farms and all the lands in Libya. So he had to work with them. And then when they left, he was old enough he was probably in like secondary school or like, probably then. That's
and
what
then you said he went to America?
Yeah, he did.
He go to New York?
No, he was in Texas. He graduated from Texas University as an oil engineer. Yeah.
Texas is interesting.
Yes.
It is. Okay. All right. Big question. I mean, I know what you're going to say, but over the course of your life, what is an issue with which you have repeatedly struggled?
I kind of answered this in a funny way, to be honest, but the issue that I repeatedly struggled with in my life is my communication, to be very honest with you. I grew up very angry, as I said in last time. I grew up very angry. I didn't know how to communicate. I didn't know how to articulate my feelings. And I felt like no one really understood me. And so I struggled a lot with my communication with people. I had a very bad relationship with my dad up until I was 26. And we basically had a very, very horrible communication. We didn't talk. We barely even spoke. We had very, very rough communication. So my communication is something that I struggled with a lot. And I still struggle with, because when you come to a new country, even though I speak the language, but how you communicate to people and how you articulate to people is completely different. So that's something that I really struggle with.
All right. So this begs the question, what happened when you were 26? How did it change?
I changed.
Was that when you went to Tony Robbins?
Yes. That's when I went to Tony Robbins. That's when I started to work on myself. That's when I got that my parents are my parents, and I just have to accept them the way they are and the way they're not. And my parents did their best. Could I have done better? Yes, of course, but they did their best, and we got to give them credit for that.
Right.
And so I changed, and when I changed the way that I saw him, he changed, and we just have the most amazing relationship ever now.
So that was like the same time you realized that not all men were worthless, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. In childhood, who was your celebrity crush?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Okay. What historical figure would you most like to meet?
I don't know how to answer that. I found it very difficult because I was like, if I say something, I'm probably going to be understood the wrong way and people are going to freak out.
No. It's this. See, now
like,
I want to know all that much more. Now I really want to know. You going to say Hitler?
Actually, I do.
Yeah.
Since I have like a fascination about like serial killers, and I have like this whole fascination about people who don't have humanity in them. I would really love to meet like Stalin, Hitler, all these people. I was just like to pick their brains to see how it works, to really see kind of like the world from their perspective. I personally, I know a lot of people are going to be like, whoa, what the hell? But I personally find it very interesting. I don't know, maybe because I'm obsessed about true crimes and stuff like that.
I don't think that's strange. I mean, it's, of all the people I've asked these questions, I think at least one other person has mentioned Hitler. So, well, I mean, you're intrigued. That's what it is.
Yes.
It's not because you want to emulate him. I think that's fair to say, right? No.
No. I am very intrigued about like
yesterday the person said Jesus. Today we have Hitler.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, even like all if you believe in religion, like the prophets, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would love to meet these people. Like they changed humanity.
Right.
They changed the whole world. Like I would love to sit with them and be like, what were you thinking when you wrote this and this and this? Like, how did that come along?
Is it the power that fascinates you? Is that part of it?
It's the power that fascinates me. It's the ability, because I'm really interested in human behavior and what makes human, what makes a human being do certain things and live certain ways, right? And I feel like anyone that had the power to control humans, even like cult leaders and all of that.
Jim Jones. Do you know about Jim Jones?
Yes. I'm very fascinated about these people. I've like watched so many documentaries, read so many books. I'm like, the ability that these people have to control and to make people believe things, new ideas that they've never really thought about before. That's kind of really interesting.
Yeah. Well, I think a big part of it is being perceptive enough to see who the people are who need somewhere to belong.
Yes. Very true.
All right. What natural gift or ability would you most like to possess?
The ability to be at two places at once. I've always loved that.
Where do you have two places? Where else would you be right now besides London?
Oh my God, I would be in Hawaii on the beach, like enjoying myself, getting a tan. Yes, just being able to work somewhere and then go have a holiday somewhere else. Oh, I would love that. That's like, I know a lot of people will be like, I want to read minds. I really don't. I don't want to know what people are thinking 24/7. I don't.
Yeah, I probably don't either. All right. What do you consider your greatest achievement?
The achievement of building a life here in the UK, starting from zero, building a business, starting a second business. Yeah. That's my greatest achievement up until this moment.
Okay. So far. Okay. This one you already answered, so I'm going to ask you for a second one. What quality do you most admire in a person?
Yeah, what I said. Basically.
You said persistence, right? Basically persistence. What else?
Kindness. Someone who's like humble, someone who can see. We live in a world where a lot of people think that for them to be something, they need to treat people a certain way or be a certain way.
Like the room yesterday, like to get a woman, a man has to be mean to her.
To be mean, yes, to be mean, to like be stuck up or just pretend that, I'm all shit and everything. But I feel like if you're able to achieve so much and also keep your humbleness, that's something that I definitely admire in someone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, to me, it's like, it's almost feels like they're one and the same. Like, if you don't have humility, what have you achieved? Right? What matter is it if you can't be kind to people?
Yeah.
What is something you would like to learn more about?
Human behaviors.
What do you wish more people knew about Amani?
That I can be fun and loving and that I could have a warm heart. I don't have to be like the angry kind of like blunt person I am most of the time, because I am blunt and I am fiery. That's just who I am. So I just wish that people can just see the other sides of me that I really don't show them that often. But if there was something that I would love to show to people more, I would love to show them that caring side of me.
So you don't think that's perceptible?
That doesn't come out all the time unless you've spent enough time with me. Then you'd get to see all these other things. But when you meet me for the first time, when you've spoken to me in a business meeting, or you've spoken to me on something like, or you just meet me in normal day-to-day life, that doesn't come across to people. How I've been said that I come across to people, I come across strong, confident, independent, cutthroat. Cutthroat. I'm not joking. They've used that word.
Are you?
I mean, it doesn't.
Like win at all costs? Is that what we're talking about?
No, it doesn't matter what I think, but this is what people think that I am. So probably they see something I don't see. So yeah.
Okay. What's your idea of success?
Success for me is to be able to make an impact, to leave a legacy, to make a difference to people, to be remembered by that. That's success for me.
Well, going back to the last question, one of the things that came to mind is that, being fiery, the passion, to me, like, that doesn't happen if you don't care. You have to care. So I don't know how someone could, not see that. I don't know.
Yes, very true. But people don't really see that.
they're just triggered. That's what it is.
Yes,
they're so caught up in what they're feeling, they're not really even aware of why you are who you are, right? All right. This is the 20th question here. What would you like people to say about you when you're gone?
I would like people to remember the good things and forget about the bad things.
Come on. What bad things?
No,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, no, I would like people to just remember that as you said, like, I cared, I made an impact, I made a difference to someone. Any support that I did to someone, I would love to be remembered. Yeah, just like that.
All right. Who wants to come up and ask Amani?
Sean has been here since the beginning. Hi, Sean. Sean is just this amazing guy, Tom. He runs a charity here in the UK, a local charity. It's called Solidarity Sports, as you can see, the kids.
Okay.
And he supports kids, like troubled kids that come from troubled backgrounds. And he really take care of families and kids and make sure that they have the childhood that any normal child would have. And it's just amazing work he does. I volunteer for his charity. My whole family volunteers for his charity. He's just really amazing. So thank you for being here, Sean, and put your hand up if you want to come up.
Well, there's one other question that I thought about asking you, but and just tell me if this is like not something you want to talk about, but I'm going to go ahead and ask you. Where does spirituality fit in your life?
For a very long time, I wasn't spiritual. For a very long time, I didn't really know how to fit spirituality. So I was born a Muslim, and I was raised as a Muslim, and I was a Muslim for a very, very long time. And then I decided that it just doesn't, it's not what I believe in, anymore. And right now, I'm kind of finding my path in spirituality. I'm not really fully there. I don't know how to answer this question, but it's kind of it's still a missing for me in my life.
Okay, so if there's one conviction that you have about this part of your life, what is it?
Well, if there's one conviction, what do you mean?
Core belief, guiding principle.
Okay.
In your life.
That there is a higher power. I don't know what is it. I don't know how to articulate it, but I do believe in a higher power. And I do believe that this higher power helps us in our lives. It supports us. It's within us. But that's basically all I can say about that. I don't have any other. I'm still learning about different things. I still don't know exactly if I know I believe in a higher power, but I don't know where I find myself, in which group of people I would call myself. I feel like I'm just an individual right now, just by myself. This is what I am. This is what I believe in. Nothing like you all, but this is I just believe in something different.
Well, I mean, everything you said, I agree with.
Yeah.
I mean, and ultimately, do we know? I mean, we don't know. And that's part of what makes it faith, right? An exercise of faith. And the one thing I believe about God, and I call it God just because lack of a more sufficient expression, is that I believe that our understanding as human beings is inherently deficient. Like, we cannot really even perceive the breadth of it. That's kind of how I look at it. And for me, it's all rooted in love. Like, I was raised in a Catholic home. You know, my mom is very, very religious. And ultimately, that didn't feel like what fit for me. The dogma of it just didn't ever work for me. And, you know, I had all these teachings about Jesus, right? That you get as a kid growing up that way. And a lot of it was about, well, he died on the cross for you. He died on the cross for your sins, and the redemption part of it, which I get, but it just never really resonated with me. I never really, it never really hit me on a heart level. And you know, what I learned later on in life, whether you identify as a Christian or not, I mean, if you read about him, I believe he was put on this earth to teach us how to love each other. That's really what his teachings are about.
Yeah.
And that's the point. So the frustration that I have with organized religion, to the extent that I do, is that, you know, it's missing the point. Where's the love? Where's the kindness? Where's the charity? Where's the spirit of it, you know? So I just try to like embody that. Even when I was, when we talked about early on before the questions about my relationship with my ex-wife and that imbalance that we had, where she felt like she loved me more than I loved her, which on some level was true. But how I dealt with that was, no matter what, I will act from a place of love. And I think and I did. So I can be completely proud of myself of how I showed up in that. I mean, I could have done things better. Come on. But that's where, when difficulty came up, when conflict came up, I was always very intentional about what is the loving thing to do in this situation. And I think that that's really what's missing a lot in relationships,
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Well, I love talking to you. This has been fantastic. So we got to figure out a way to keep this going, Amani.
Yes. This has been very, very great. It's been so much fun. I enjoyed it so much. And yeah, we'll do something. I'm still thinking about something, Tom. We'll do something.
Well, just remember that maybe we can just bounce some ideas back and forth.
Yeah.
And start there. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, I just started doing this room like 2 weeks ago. It just hit me and I did it, and I'm still figuring it out.
Yeah.
But this was a fantastic conversation that wouldn't have been had if I didn't just do it. Right.
Yeah. No.
So
it's been so great.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm glad you did it.
Oh, absolutely. And I hope that you like the episode as much as I do. I know Carl listened to it.
Everything I'd say and do, and I'm already critiquing so many things. I'm like, maybe I shouldn't listen to it.
Well, or maybe you should listen to it just as an exercise of self-love.
Yes.
Seriously, because I mean, I think it's incredible. I mean, I know Carl listened to it and he sent me a voice memo this morning telling me how great it was.
Yes, he sent me a voicemail as well. So sweet of him. I swear,
I love him. I think he's great.
He's great.
And he hosts a room on Monday afternoons, usually during the time of that room yesterday that I've been modding with him whenever I can. So, all right, Amani. Well, if I didn't have things to do, I'd try to keep you here talking as long as I could. But I have a new client who I have to go see here in a little bit. But thank you. This has been great. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you. And I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right, there you go. Another episode in the books. Thanks for listening. You can learn more about the show and this episode's guest at thepathtooauthenticity.com. If you enjoyed this episode, please share it with someone. Leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. Every little bit helps. I want to thank the band Punk Rock Opera, whose music you hear throughout the show. Their songs are used with permission from the artist and under a Creative Commons license. If you're so inclined, check out the Patreon community. As soon as I do these interviews, I upload them to Patreon, where the content is only available to patrons. And for just a couple bucks a month, I usually post audio content, their exclusive audio content, probably 8 times a month, if not more. And as these new episodes are released, as soon as they're done, they're available to patrons. So sometimes that might be 2 weeks before an episode is released or even longer. Usually it's a few days. Anyway, if you want to support the show, that's a great way to do it. So thanks again for investing your time It's a big deal to me. Thank you for supporting me and supporting the show. I hope you keep coming back. Be nice.
That's our story. I hope you enjoyed the punk rock opera. We have one last piece of music for you. It goes like this.
Okay, go.
Generation, self-made bands, we cut our teeth with bloody hands. The rage has instilled in us, can feed a crowd, give them a rush. Thank you. And good night.